1 minute? Okay. You got anybody still on the bracket? No. You fill it out? I don't do it either. You do it?
What's that?
The bracket?
I fill one out. I don't know anything about college basketball.
Mike does.
Yeah, I'm just saying, did anybody ever get this one all right?
Oh, hell no.
No, it's impossible.
Except the number ones are all still in.
Yeah, well, that's different. Yeah, but
Last year, they were out this time. Yeah. Ready? Okay. Here comes Zach. All right, folks, the the work session meeting of the Cape May Planning Board is now in session, and in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. Should any member of this board have reason to believe this meeting is being held in violation of that act, they shall so state at this time. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
All right.
Before we get started, I think the whole board wants to extend their condolences to Craig for his mother's passing. And Karen, thank you for going up there to represent the city. I think Craig appreciated that, so. Okay, roll call.
Okay, Mr. Becerra.
Here.
Mr. Jones.
Here.
Ms. McCorkle.
Here.
Mr. Crowley. Mr. Gorgone.
Here.
Mayor Mullick. Councilmember Yeager. Mrs. Reed. Mr. Lundholm. Mr. Paducis. Mr. Crippen.
Here.
Thank you.
We have a resolution 3-26, 2024, Bogle Investment Properties LLC, 502 Washington Street, Block 1050, Lots 9. Motion for approval for that resolution.
So moved.
Mike?
I'll second.
Thank you, Zach.
We have a motion by Mr. Jones, seconded by Mayor Mullick. Mr. Gorgone?
Yes.
Mayor Mullick?
Yes.
Mrs. Reed, I'm sorry, Mr. Crowley?
No.
Ms. McCorkle?
I abstain.
Mr. Crippen?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Becerra?
Yes.
Thank you.
I've just got to note that we're not on live stream, Karen.
Oops.
Pardon me?
I'm not showing any problems here, so let me check my phone.
Mr. Griffin,
Yeah.
were you present for the Bogle thing?
You know what? I wasn't. I should abstain.
Yeah.
You're
I'll
right.
correct that.
Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Scott, your vote is abstain or no vote. Abstain or don't vote. But just don't.
Oh, I don't repeat my vote?
Yeah, you just don't vote.
I don't vote.
So we'll redo the vote?
I should abstain.
Chairperson Becerra, I'm finding it on my cell phone,
Okay, all right.
so
Okay,
I
very
think we're
good, that's
streaming.
fine.
Yes.
All right, so Mr. Crowley's vote has been switched to
It's all
abstain.
just one whole packet.
Mr. Crippen has been the same.
So Mr. Crowley abstains,
Correct.
and Mr. Crippen abstains. So we have 3 abstentions. Okay, thank you.
Okay, second resolution, 32624, 2 Madison, Cape May, RELLC, 1025, 1029 Beach Avenue, Block 1095, lots 8 through 13. Any corrections or a motion for approval?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Crippen, seconded by Mr. Jones. Mr. Gorgone?
Abstain.
Mayor Mullick?
Yes.
Mr. Crowley?
Abstain?
Ms. McCorkle?
Yes.
Mr. Crippen?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Becerra?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, can we have,
Can you just check something? I wasn't sure he was present for this.
I don't think he was.
I abstain. I
Abstain?
apologize.
Thank you.
March must be Mental Health Month. Okay, we've got the minutes of the February 13th meeting. Anybody remember those?
I was here.
Motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Anybody got a second?
I'll second. I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Crippen, seconded by Mr. Jones. Mr. Gorgone?
Abstain.
Mayor Mullick?
Abstain.
Mr. Crowley?
Yes.
Ms. McCorkle?
Yes.
Mr. Crippen?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Bezier?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, next item is payment of bills. They were just passed out, but nothing glaring here. A motion to approve payment of bills?
So moved.
Thank you, Bob.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Gorgone, seconded by Mr. Crippen. Mr. Gorgone?
Yes.
Mayor Mullick?
Yes.
Mr. Crowley?
Yes.
Ms. McCorkle?
Yes.
Mr. Crippen?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Bezier?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the final item is master plan consistency review of ordinance. I don't even know, we don't have a number for it, do we? It's an ordinance prohibiting the use of artificial turf in the city of Cape May. It's the name of it, it's kind of a misnomer, but has everybody had a chance to look over this ordinance? Any comments?
Would you like me to just?
Go
So
over it a little
when
bit.
we're referred a land use ordinance, we have a couple of things to do as the planning board. The first is to determine consistency with the master plan. So as part of my review, I go through the master plan and pick out anything that I find consistent or inconsistent with the master plan, highlight those, and give you reasons to find consistency. So those are contained on page 2 or 3. If you look at the historic preservation element recommendation, it tells you about appropriate historic district streetscape. I believe that you can find it's consistent with, as well as the conservation element where they have the objectives in there, as well as the recommendations for landscaping. So I do believe that the board can find consistency. As part of this review, we're also allowed to offer comments back to the governing body, and they can listen to those comments, revise the ordinance, or not. But you're certainly allowed to comment and make recommendations back to them. So that's just highlighting my March 18th, 2024 review, and I'm happy to answer any questions or go into greater detail if the board wants.
There was a committee that worked on this, was there not?
The
Yes.
subcommittee, right?
Committee, yeah. Were you on that, Bob?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
If you'd like me to comment, excuse me, yeah, that was part of an ad hoc committee, and, excuse me, it included representation from the HPC, the Shade Tree Commission, zoning, environmental, the planning board, myself, Paul Dietrich was there, Chris Gillen Schwartz, and Rich King was also there. We had I think, a very thorough discussion on pros, cons, what are the problems associated with the artificial turf and all that, but ultimately we came to a consensus that we would prohibit the use of the artificial turf as part of the landscaping, if you will, of properties, whether it be in the historic district or any place within Cape May, and that's for residential use. And by keeping it simple and stating that it was where landscaping goes, does allow that if someone had an example that they might want to add artificial turf in some way other than within landscaping. And an example that I used at the meeting was, for instance, someone had a gazebo and it had a concrete slab underneath it. Oftentimes, though, people will put indoor-outdoor carpeting in places like that, or a second floor deck or something like that. That's not landscaping. But if someone needed to or had a desire to add artificial turf in some other way, they could bring it to the planning board and ask for a variance or a waiver, depending on what the circumstance might be. So basically, wherever you have landscaping, which would be garden areas, lawns, and what have you, artificial turf is prohibited. If someone has it existing, it's basically grandfathered in until it needs to be removed because it's outlived its useful life. They cannot put the artificial turf back in that area if it's a landscaped area. There are exceptions. An exception is for commercial use, and commercial use would be for miniature golf, for instance. And the other exception is for municipal use. They could use it, and an example, we used it when we were having our discussions, like let's say at one of the parks, they wanted to put in a batting cage. Batting cage shouldn't have grass in it, and shouldn't have dirt, because it would just be mud. And something like that, it would be appropriate to do that. And also, we had Chris take care in writing the preamble, so it gave reasons why this has come forward and gotten to this particular situation. In other words, explaining why it's not necessarily a good thing to have the artificial turf. Okay.
So that was a great explanation. I was going to make two technical clarifications. First, although this is in design standards, it's part of the zoning ordinance, so it wouldn't be a waiver, it'd be a variance,
He
correct,
did,
Greg?
he did say that.
I said a variance or a waiver. I just don't want them to pull
Okay.
this transcript out later and say.
And it would go to the zoning board, not the
Would go,
planning board.
that was.
Would go
the next-
zoning
it
board
Would go to the zoning board, unless it was part of a site plan approval, then you could have the variance
Right.
in there, but it may not come to you, it may come to the zoning board. They're the only two things, but otherwise, that was great.
Anybody have any questions?
I will comment, by the way, it was very good having that ad hoc committee, because I think it was very helpful for the different groups, if you will, to gain an understanding of what each of those groups stand for and what it is that they do.
Good.
Worked out well.
Thank you. So this motion is to pass this ordinance on to the council, I believe, correct?
It's to find consistency with the master plan
Right.
and then send it back to council and with your recommendations, or if there's none, you can send it without recommendations.
Anybody in the public care to comment on this? No? All right, motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Gorgon, seconded by Mr. Crippen. Mr. Gorgon?
Yes.
Mayor Mullick?
Yes.
Mr. Crowley?
Yes.
Ms. McCorkle?
Yes.
Mr. Crippen?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Bezier?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else for the board? Any public comment? Sorry we couldn't keep you here longer. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
I actually might have been able to. That's funny.
We can go to Delaney's and say the meeting was.
Yeah, yeah. That's more like it.
It's a quiet time.
That's more like it.
All right, I'm gonna actually go home and have dinner with my family.